Hey y'all! So it's your favorite plus size model, MoniiDeville, keeping it all the way real. And today I just wanted to check in with you guys because I have not been on here in a while, and I'll tell you why in a minute. But I have not been on here in a while, so I did want to post something and actually give you guys insight on my mental health journey thus far since my last video. So, since my last video, I have been battling my chronic depression. It has been up and down, and I've been going through it for about 2 weeks at a time. So, I'm not sure what triggered any of these depressions. I was going through something of a romantic sort that triggered one of my depression episodes, but I'm not sure what triggered the other ones. So with depression, that's just how it goes. Sometimes you get triggered and you don't know what triggered you, but you go from being okay to not being okay. And it's okay. So, in my last videos, you may have noticed that I had my hair done, I had makeup on, dressed nice, and all of these things that are model worthy. Today, you're seeing me, and you may be thinking to yourself, she doesn't look much like a model. She doesn't look very glamorous or anything like that. And that's very true. And it's because with depression, sometimes you barely make it through the day. So I would be lying if I sat here and told you guys that every day I look glamorous like that and I'm dealing with mental health issues. Or, you know, all of my days, most of my days are like that. Most of my days are not like that. As a model, I want that as a career. You don't work all the time. You don't work round clock. You don't work, you have off days, and you don't work all day when you do work. So, same with me. Sometimes you can find me glammed up even though I'm depressed, and I just put that face on. But a lot of times I have downtime and I'm doing other things and I'm being productive in other ways. And when those days are afoot, then I look like this. And my hair right now, um, I put this hair, like I twisted my hair this way because I was going into a depression and I felt myself drifting into a depression. And I knew when it comes to my hair, when I'm depressed, I do not do my hair. My hair will look however it looks when I wake up. And I'm okay with that. Honestly, I believe in natural beauty. I don't believe you have to do too much just to be beautiful. I believe that I'm beautiful right now. I look a little rougher than I did in the first couple of videos, but I was glammed up in the first couple of videos. This is a video of how I look on a day-to-day basis. From the hair to the no makeup and the eyes that don't have like pretty eyelashes to the eyebrows that aren't, flawless to my arm fat, I guess. I still believe that I am beautiful and I know that I'm beautiful. It's just I am bare minimum because of my mental state. And beauty does take a back seat for me when it comes to my mental health. My mental health is important to me, and that is always at the forefront. So, in a depressed state, that's why I do things like this and do my hair to where it would last a week. In a depressed state, I don't put on makeup and all of that unless I have to. I don't dress up and wow anybody unless I have to. And instead, I'm dealing with things internally to kind of create that wow factor on the inside. So that's why I look like I look today, but it's okay. And want to talk to you about depression and different things about my personal experience with depression. This isn't a educational video. This is more so a testimonial. So If you're looking for an educational video, just click subscribe and I will have that for you soon. Just bear with me, okay? So, with my mental health and my depression, I suffer with chronic depression. So, that means it is always there. However, there are times when I don't feel as depressed as other times. So, there's low depression days and there's high depression days for me. And there are time periods that I go through depression. So the longest that I believe I've gone through a depression is about 6 weeks. I don't recall being depressed more than 6 weeks, but that was a long 6 weeks for me. Because when you are depressed, well, when I'm depressed, I have trouble doing day to day tasks like cooking, showering, cleaning, going places, getting dressed, doing laundry, or just getting up out of my bed. It really feels impossible sometimes. And I know other people may say, well, what's so impossible about getting out of the bed? You just put your feet on the ground. But it doesn't feel like that when you're depressed. A lot of times, depression makes small tasks feel like very, very difficult tasks. And my depression can be quite crippling sometimes. I get extremely depressed to the point where I don't want to go anywhere. And if I don't have to, I won't. And if I can stay in my bed for days, I will. And in that time, I'm not showering, I'm not cooking, I'm not cleaning up. So if I am living and existing in my apartment, there's chip bags and any kind of quick snacks I can find, and juice bottles, and dishes in the sink, and a bed that hasn't been made up all the whole time, and days where I go without showering. And it's not a everyday thing because when I'm at my best, I shower every day. But when I'm depressed, everything feels too much. So my hair is not washed. My hair is dirty probably, or it may not be dirty because I did something such as this, or, you know, I just did my hair or something like that. But it's a possibility that my hair is dirty. It's a possibility that I haven't showered. It's a possibility that dirty clothes are piling up. About the only thing that I do when I'm in a depressed state like that is probably change clothes. I change clothes often. And that's just a kind of OCD thing with me. I often change clothes. That it just makes me feel better to change clothes. And that's in a depressed state of mind or a non-depressed state of mind. And I struggle with that, being honest about that because there's a lot of judgment, you know. If you're a person that suffers from depression, you may know exactly what I am talking about when I say judgment. Some people say, ew, you don't shower every day just because you're depressed. Possibly no. I can't tell you that I don't. I can't tell you that I do because it really just depends on how I feel in that moment. But there have been times where I go days without showering because I'm extremely depressed and I'm not going anywhere and I'm in my bed and everything feels too much. And I'm not ashamed of that. I'm not a person that gets ashamed when people talk about that. I just don't like the judgment because the judgment doesn't help. But I'm not ashamed simply because you can't tell me how to get through the day, especially when you don't understand what I'm going through. A person that doesn't suffer with depression can never understand what depression feels like. If you see commercials on depression medicine where there's like a ball chain or something like that, and the person is, lugging it around, and it's like making their day to day tasks hard, but that's like a good picture of it. That's a pretty picture of it. Depression can go way deeper than just feeling like you're tugging around extra weight. Depression can feel like, well, like I said, my depression is crippling. So it literally feels like something I can't do. I'm not able to. I'm not able to get up and stand up for an hour cooking me food. It it literally feels like you asked me to move a train with one finger, using only one finger. That's what it feels like. Um And I know a lot of people say, "Oh, well, don't you stink?" Well, I don't know if I stink because I'm not even in that headspace. I'm literally in a headspace where I'm just trying to make it through. I'm trying not to be suicidal. I'm trying not to go further down into my depression. And they say, "Oh, well, do you feel like that's okay?" No, no. I have good hygiene when I'm not depressed. I shower daily, I brush my teeth, I wash my face, I lotion, I do all of that when I'm not depressed. But your mental is not normal. Well, I hate to say normal, but that's the word that we're going to use. But I do hate to say normal, but I'm not in a normal state of mind to even think of any of that. I'm in a state of mind where my problems are replaying over and over in my head. I can lose about 4 hours easily off of one thought, being in a depression. Literally can watch one video that may be about 3 minutes, and if that 3 minute video triggers me, I can be stuck in that headspace for 4 to 6 hours easily. So imagine if, I'm depressed and I watch a video and now I'm sinking into depression, and now it's this wheel of confusion and different events that have happened in my life that contribute to my depression, and then I try to, you know, better that by putting on a movie, and then that triggers some depression or anxiety because I deal with multiple mental health issues. At that point, I don't know how many days I'm going to lose just being in my head. I know that even when I'm depressed, when I go outside of my house, I will shower. But inside of my house, I have to be honest. This is a channel where I'm going to be honest about mental health, and I'm going to be honest about the things that affect me in my mental health and the things that happen with mental health breakdowns. And that is one of them. As far as eating, I'm already a plus size model and I don't have any weight issues. Like, I don't have a problem with my weight. I'm not embarrassed about my weight. Of course, we all have, insecurities and things like that, things we would like to change about our body, but I'm very big on body positivity. So I will never let myself run away with, oh, this is gross. This is gross. You need to not eat that. I don't feel like that is healthy for anybody, much less a person that has mental health issues. So when it comes to eating, I allow myself to eat whatever I want, but I can tell you that my diet when I'm depressed is terrible. I will sit there and I will eat snack cakes and chips and cereal and juice and water and fruit that's already cut up so I don't have to wash it or anything, and anything that's quick to cook, because I won't cook a whole meal being depressed simply because I'm in and out of sleep a lot of times when I'm depressed, and I have been known to like cook and go to sleep, and I've woken up a couple of times with my house smoky because things are burning and I have fallen asleep for 4 hours with the stove on. So it really scares me when I do that. So I have learned to not cook at all whenever I'm depressed, especially if I'm in that depression state where I'm not even able to get out of the bed simply because I don't want to burn down my apartment. But uh, my diet when I'm depressed, very terrible. And as far as activities, Whew. Damn. I'm not gonna edit that part out. I don't care. But as far as like activities and things like that I do when I'm depressed, I literally don't do anything. My outlet for my mental health problems is normally dancing or singing or painting, drawing, designing clothes, things like that. But when I'm in a depressed state, I don't do any of that. The only thing that I will do in a depressed state is work. I will go to work because you can't you can't stop your money. You have to make your money to take care of yourself. That is a adult thing, that is a mature thing to do. So I don't let my depression come in between making money for my livelihood, but anything else I'm not doing. And I've concretely stand on that. I don't care what's going on because I have to take care of me first. And you can't take care of yourself if you're worried about everything else and your mental is not right. To me, that's a difficult thing for me simply because I'm in school. So if I'm in a depressed state for, let's say 2 weeks, I'm not doing anything. So my homework is piling up. And if you go to school online, you know that you have to log in at least every 2 weeks. So with me not doing anything, my homework is piled up and I'm still in a depressed state. And normally I choose one day. Like, this is going to be the day that you persevere, that you suck it up, and you do your homework. And it's very difficult. It's very difficult because on that day, my focus is all everywhere. At that point, my anxiety is high because there's a deadline and it's a trigger for me. Like, school is a trigger for me. And I'm still learning how to cope with that. It's it's difficult to cope with it just because I know it's a trigger. I know it's a trigger for my anxiety and my depression. I also have a terrible fear of failure, so it contributes to that. And I get irrational, and then that's when the depressed state of everything is too much also kicks in. So normally I try to reserve all of my energy for either work or school when I'm depressed. As far as my triggers, I feel it's very important to figure out what your triggers are because for me, I know a few of my triggers, so I'm able to combat them as they come. Sometimes when I see a trigger coming and I know what it's going to do to me, I go ahead and start repair mode immediately. I do not wait for things to settle, the dust to settle, for whatever it is to happen. I deal with it immediately. That is probably the best advice I can give anybody that struggles with depression. Once you figured out what your triggers are, be proactive and not reactive. I believe that's all I wanted to share today about depression. I really just wanted to touch bases with you guys, let you know that I was going through a depressed state. Of course, I will come back with more videos about mental health. I just wanted to give that testimony and encourage anybody out there that is dealing with depression to one, be proactive and not reactive. Know your triggers and do not be ashamed of what you're going through. We're not going to be ashamed of anything because mental health is not a you problem, it's not a me problem, it's a we problem, okay? Till next time.